coming. I can feel it. It's nearly here.
Only if you can click on like the conversation. Just look at all the Are you passed it off? Glasses on.
Fucking, it's so dark, bro. Yeah, I think there's a way you can look at media or something like that. Or like you click one of the media and you can scroll through all the media.
Oh yeah.
But it's too much work.
You scrolling is.
It's part of the experience.
Can I actually get one of those?
Yeah, brother. Got a little beer on the floor.
Good job. That's great.
Are we live? Oh shit, we're live. I didn't know you hit the live button.
I did, in fact, hit the live button.
Yeah, where's the candle at, bro?
We're not talking about it yet.
Oh.
We started at 8, remember?
Oh yeah.
You just got here late last time.
Yeah, I know. You're right. I forgot.
We for sure shouldn't shut those on the table. Go clunk.
With this?
Yeah.
The sound? Does that bother y'all?
Yeah, oh shit. Just do it.
Anyways, bro, I was telling them anyway. We just get coasters. See? No big deal. Just kidding.
See, I have my own table here.
Get some plant ASMR. I like that one.
It probably does honestly sound like that.
Yeah.
Just.
Does that look good? That looks good.
Yeah, it looks fine. It's like draped over everything. I like it.
Yeah, whatever.
Focus,
We're just slowly going to add more plants until everything is plants and there's nothing else in
Dude,
here.
I mean, I could do like 2 plants over there. Like, we just load the whole son bitch up with plants.
And then go to giant palm.
Yeah, just.
And then vines. And then.
Oh, yeah, we're just going to become just one.
We're actually in the
nature.
jungle. Coming at you live from the Amazon.
Just drool.
Wouldn't that be hype though?
If we came out of the Amazon, coming at you live from the
Yeah,
Amazon.
like we're just chilling in the Amazon. No big deal. Interviewing some tribal homies.
Tribal homies.
Tribal homies.
Oh, I thought you said
Yeah.
travel homies. I was like,
No.
who's a homie that's traveling of yours? Like,
I don't know, but
you should know
I
just
wish I
backpackers.
knew somebody who lived or traveled the Amazon. Actually, I think Katie's been in the Amazon before.
I think so.
I think
right?
she has when she was in Peru. Peru.
How? I mean, what did she exactly do down there? She helped like build like a school or something.
It wasn't like a mission trip. She did the one in Peru with East with Senora Bender, with Holtz, Senora Holtz. But part of it was like a community thing, but most of it was just sightseeing and like cultural immersion. Yeah, I had to think about it. But yeah, so she did the cultural immersion thing. But then they did go to like a village in the mountains or something like that where they kind of like they met some of the people there, and I don't know if they did something with like their. I don't know. I don't think they built anything, and then she went to Colombia, and that was with UNO, but that was just like that was just a study abroad at the university there in Bogota. Yeah, actually, she was in Barranquilla, not Bogota. Barranquilla.
I really love the facial expressions tonight, my man.
You gotta really put it out there, it's like on stage you gotta be exaggerated. Same thing on film. You gotta be exaggerated so that people out there in the crowd understand what's happening.
I respect that.
Yeah, so.
Let's get started.
Yeah, let's just go for it.
Let's see if I can light this. It's getting pretty fucking low. I don't know.
Why don't you get a new candle?
Yeah, like I don't even know if I can light this bitch.
Yeah.
I can light this one though. This one even lasts. We gotta have the candle.
Well, you can light it, bro. Don't be a baby. No. Do it the other way. You had something going on there. Let me see it.
Fuck yeah, you wanna light it?
Yeah, you had something going on here. Actually, there's not much of a wick, bro.
It's a wood wick. Can your fingers reach it?
It's starting to burn.
Dude, we're just two guys trying. How many dudes does it take to light a candle?
I don't know, but only one of us geniuses.
Whatever, shut up. Yeah, let's get started. So, topic of discussion today is death.
Yeah.
Pretty pretty.
I had wax that I was trying to get off.
For sure, I feel that. No, I was just trying to say how, death isn't talked about a lot. And I told a lot of people what we were talking about today. I said, death. They go, oh, why'd you talk about death?
Yeah, it's weird.
But like, fuck it, why not?
Yeah, I don't. What's going on, whole grain? That's her name, right?
Yep.
Yeah, whole grain. Okay. Yeah, I don't get why people are so uncomfortable talking about death. Like, I don't know. I think those uncomfortable topics, I'm not uncomfortable about.
No, I love.
Why
talking,
not?
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm not necessarily uncomfortable with that. I think it's just like, why not talk about uncomfortable, taboo, weird stuff? Because that's the most interesting thing to talk about.
Exactly, it makes you think.
But yeah, I don't get why people are uncomfortable with death. Like, talking about death. I understand why people are uncomfortable with death, but maybe they're just too afraid to confront their mortality.
No, for sure, and
puny mortals.
So Zach, let's just start it right off like how we always do. What are your thoughts on death?
Yeah, what are my thoughts on death? So kind of like we had talked about, the first thing that I think about, with death is obviously like the afterlife, right? Personally, I'm not really one. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty torn on if I'm, heaven's real or like some other kind of afterlife or whatever. Or if it's just, it is what it is, and when you die, you're dirt, Because I don't know. I'm pretty torn on that. Like, I don't know. I think humans are like predisposed to like being hopeful, right? And so like the most precious thing we have is our life, and so to even conceive of us losing our life, like the next thing we would do with our human brain is think of what's our next life. What's the next life? Like that's all that could ever happen, right? Is life. So it's like I don't know, but like my concept of the afterlife probably doesn't coincide with like the Christian or the Western idea of heaven.
But neither is mine though.
Right, but yeah, I mean, I don't know.
So I'm sorry to interrupt. No, yeah, you're right. Death. I've talked to a lot of people about death because I do like asking the question.
Yeah.
Because I do think it is so interesting to just kind of like put it out there because why not?
Yeah.
I've had all different aspects. Like, oh, you just sleep, like you don't wake up, like you're just done. And I also have people, oh, there's a heaven,
Yeah.
There's a heaven, there's a hell, and then there's also people that are like spiritual world. I'll be a spirit or like.
Yeah.
So I guess while we're on the topic, what do you think happens after death?
See, I don't know, because it's like, it's for me. The first question is like, is there a soul, right?
Yeah.
Like you gotta ask, like, does a soul exist? Is like what we think of it, right? Because like, if it doesn't exist, then there is no afterlife. Period. Right?
Yes.
If once the electrical, chemical interactions in your brain and body cease, Zach no longer exists, right? But I have a hard time accepting that because, like, in my opinion, when I think about like myself, I see myself as like being this voice, this existence that controls my body, right? Like I personally, like Zach, the thing that is Zach, is not synonymous with the body that I inhabit, right? Which obviously would logically mean that I believe there's a soul, right? There's a spirit aspect. Yeah, I'm just controlling this awesome like mech armor, basically.
This mech armor.
Yeah, dude.
Master Chief.
Yeah, dude. Like I don't know. But yeah, I don't know, cause like again, like I don't necessarily believe in heaven though, so it's like I have a hard time expressing where I think the spirit goes, right? Because when I think about heaven, obviously I have a problem with the idea of heaven, especially as like Christianity and stuff display it, because like the idea that a terrible person can get into heaven just because they accept Jesus' grace and like his into their life, like that seems pretty fucked up to me, right? You're not getting your due diligence of what you what you did. Obviously, is not being punished, So like, but like I don't know.
No, so I do like your take. I was baptized a Catholic, raised a Christian, and I don't really believe in that. My kind of thoughts, this is gonna sound crazy. I think we've talked about it actually before.
Probably.
But I think when you die, your consciousness, as you said, now the one that is controlling our meat sack. you know, everything just becomes connected in the universe. You know how, like, just imagine, like, trees being connected because, like, they're all in the ground. That's how I feel. Like, we're all just be connected once we all die, you know, as part of this earth. So, like, once they bury me, like, my nutrients will allow, like, other people to live, other plants to live, stuff like that.
Right, but then, like, where does your spirit go, your soul go, you know?
And the consciousness.
Yeah, it becomes part of, like, the conscious collective or whatever, you know?
Like, you're just one big consciousness.
So, like, what's the purpose of that, though?
What's the purpose of anything?
No, yeah, that's fair, but at the same time, like, I don't know. Because, like, to me, like, yeah, I totally agree. I think when I die, the ideal for me is, like, when I die, dude, just let my body go to the worms and shit, you know? Like, there's no point in, like, stuffing me full of chemicals and whatnot just to preserve my corpse for an extra week or two.
For sure.
You know? Might as well just let me decompose and feed the decomposers so that they can feed the, you know, the plants and the insects. They're the bug eaters.
But I
just want to,
you know? I just want to get your take of that. If that isn't, like, where your soul goes, where do you think your soul goes then?
I don't know, because, like, I don't necessarily believe in, like, a higher power, right? Like I do and I don't. The higher power that I conceptualize doesn't, like, it's not the same as, like, God, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think there's a person or, like, this being or whatever, this force, you know, that, like, that has basically predetermined all of existence and is, like, playing in a sandbox, you know?
Yeah.
Like, to me, I think, like, I don't know. To me, I think it's just, like, the earth, dude. The earth is just, like, God for me, you know?
Well,
like,
that's
like,
exactly what I'm saying, though, you know?
Yeah, but, like, I don't know if I, like this idea of, like, the spiritual net, like, I don't know, like, to me, if there's an afterlife, there has to be a purpose, right? There has to be a reason there's an afterlife, because to me, like, just as much as, like, having immortality in reality and on Earth would suck after a while because you've done all that can be done, people you love die, you know, your life has no meaning because there's no risk at stake, right? There's levels and there's depth there. The same thing, you go to heaven and, like, say it is heaven, right? And it's the Elysium, right? The perfect world for you.
The Mecca.
Yeah, it's like it's where you live. It's perfect life. That gets old, bro. It's gonna get stale, right? Like, as far as I would understand it, right?
If it's the perfect life, it wouldn't get old.
I guess so, but that's.
But I definitely get what you're saying.
See, but that ties into, like, this philosophical thing that I've learned.
I definitely get your point.
Because it's like,
definitely.
There's this thing I learned about in philosophy where it was in my ethics class or something like that, about, like, if you were able to plug into a world, a simulation that was exactly everything you ever wanted, you know, you got everything you ever wanted to, except it was a simulation, and you knew it was a simulation, would you plug into that? You plugged into the simulation, it's a perfect life for you, it's everything you ever wanted, but it's a simulation, it's not real. Would you plug into it for the rest of your life?
No.
Exactly. So it's the same thing. Like, you go to heaven and you go into this perfect reality or whatever, but in theory, that perfect life that you go to heaven is just basically simulated for you to have a perfect life. There's no, like, value in that, you know?
No, there's not.
So it's like, it's hard for me to, like, want to be like, yeah, like, when I die, my life, my spirit will just go to this perfect realm, you know? I don't know.
You're saying your spirit will go to this perfect realm?
No, I'm saying, like, I don't know if that's what I want. Oh,
that's not what you want.
Right.
Okay.
But, like, I don't know. Because, like, honestly, like, the closest thing that I come to mind is, like, is like, resurrection, right?
Okay.
Not resurrection. What the hell is it called in Buddhism? Reincarnation.
Okay.
Yeah. Where it's like my spirit just becomes another life form, right? But the body I leave behind just goes back to the earth, right?
Okay.
Like,
it's just...
If anything, that's what I would accept the most, you know, because it's like, again, like I said, the earth is like, that's just it for me, you know. I don't necessarily feel like I need anything greater than that, right? Like, the earth gives everything that we have, right? And it's going to take that back eventually.
Yeah,
you know
right.
What I mean?
The earth will...
So as long as far as physically, I suppose, that's where I stand. But then, like, spiritually, like, I think about, like, in Hinduism is really similar to what you're talking about, right? Where they believe, or at least, you know, Hinduism has multiple divisions and different, like, gods and stuff that they focus on.
Yeah.
It's really weird, but Hinduism basically believes that there's one over God, and his name is, like, Brahman or something like that, who incarnates as multiple different gods who are really all just aspects of one god. So like they have like hundreds of gods, but they're all the same god. They're just different versions of that one god, right? And the idea is that like when you die, you just join the greater collective that is Brahman. So like every human being, just like in Christianity, right? Like you are a part of God, like God is in you.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same kind of idea exists. So like when you die, you just basically reconnect with Brahman or Brahma or whatever.
Okay, the one God.
Right, so like basically humans are all broken off of him and then they return back to his greater collective consciousness or whatever.
Okay.
Which, again though, but it's like, what's the point of that? Like, once you get to that point, is it just like,
okay.
I made it? I don't know.
I know, no, I definitely get what you're saying, and I definitely have, I know, like, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Like, the whole reincarnation thing, I mean, that would be the perfect world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, your soul consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
you know, is just reincarnated into something different.
Yeah.
And you know, but you don't know, like, that you're reincarnated.
Right.
You know, but I guess that's also...
Like a factory reset or something.
Yeah. You quit the game, you know, like...
Yeah, but reincarnation is weird too, though, because it's like, you know, if you think about it in terms of, like, you're recycling souls or something, right? Then, like, somewhere in there, doesn't that, like, imply that there's a certain number of souls available? So, like, once the planet gets to, say there's only 100 billion souls available, right? Yeah. And then we get to 101 billion souls, and then that baby is born soulless or something, you know? So it brings the question, like, is there a limitation in that sense, you know?
But what...
Because, like, once the total world population exceeds the total deaths ever in history, right? Then there's a problem with reincarnation.
Okay, yes.
Like, numerically, right?
Yes, okay,
assuming, like, a new soul can't be generated. But then that would imply there's a God who is creating new souls and, like, he creates life, which means that reincarnation is wrong. Because
and that's what's so scary about death, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Is that...
the unknown, bro.
Nobody fucking knows.
Yeah.
Like, you have these, like, stories that, like, you reach that, you know, you see the light, heaven is real,
mm-hmm.
you know, but, like, that could just also be the chemicals in your brain, like, you know, before you die as, like, a last resort, you're like, holy fuck, like, I see it, you know?
Yeah.
But, like...
your brain protecting you.
Exactly.
From, like, which is real, right? Like, endorphins and shock is literally just your body protecting you from the pain of, like, dying or, like, trauma and shit like that, you know?
So, I think it's so crazy that, like, literally nobody knows.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, people claim, right?
That's what I'm saying. People claim to know because they see heaven. Heaven is real, but, like, every time you hear somebody saying, like, heaven is real,
mm-hmm.
like, that's the only thing that people know.
Exactly, yeah.
You know,
like their experience is tarnished by this, like, by the influence of what they already know.
See, like...
Right? They can't, think of something new and novel because they're being influenced by something that's old.
Say if I die.
Yeah.
I die, I see my collective consciousness net in the world.
Right.
Nobody has ever said that.
Yeah.
You know? But then you also see the fact of the people, oh, I never believed in God, and then
mm-hmm.
when I died, I saw heaven. But that could also be like a...
Right.
You know, like, I'm dying, like, what the fuck is going on? Where am I going to go?
Yeah, that's just the struggle of the identity, right? Because that's like the number one human thing is, like, to protect your identity, right?
Correct.
That's why, like, people have problems with other people because they question their identity, right? They feel attacked with
mm-hmm.
their identity and shit like that. So, yeah, you die, and it's like you have to protect what you understand as you. Right? And if that fails, then all of a sudden you don't have an identity, and then you go into psychotic breakdowns. Because you're like, what am I? Who am I? What is life?
Exactly. You know, and that circles back to, like, when we were first talking, that, like, that your life is so precious
mm-hmm.
to you, and that's what kind of causes this whole, you know, scare of death, and then seeing things.
Well, and, like, fear of death is so difficult, too, because it's like, and it's definitely easier for young people, right, to be like, well, I don't really fear death, right, because you haven't lived, you haven't experienced things, you don't have memories that are, like, rich and, like, you love and, like, want to hold on to and remember for life, and you know, you're not as close to the due date, right? But, like, a huge part of that to me, right, is, like, unfulfilled dreams and, like, regrets and just purely the unknown, right? Like, not, like, there's a reason humans are afraid of the dark, right? Because they don't know what's in it. Right, it's the fear of the unknown ultimately, right? Yeah. So it's the same thing, you know. So just like that's what I said. Like that's what when I think about being afraid of dying, I think it's really stemmed to being afraid of not achieving the things I want to do.
Exactly.
You know, that's more of what it is.
And, you know, I used to be like...
But I think that's a young mentality.
Yeah, it is. And you're exactly right. You know, older people are more scared of dying, I guess, than younger people. Because younger people do think they're fucking invincible. You know?
Yeah, well, and I think older people, too, their reasons change, right? You go from being young and be like, well, I'm afraid to not achieve the things I do. But then you get old. Maybe you did accomplish your dreams, but now you're afraid to leave behind this family you've built.
Exactly.
You know?
And I was, you know, with my OCD and stuff, like, I was super scared of death.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, like, I don't want to leave my family behind. I'm scared of fulfilling you know, the dreams I want to achieve. But recently, we've been talking a lot about living in the present, right? And within living in the present, which it sounds weird, but like lately I've been doing that. I just feel good. You know, I just feel different, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I've lost this kind of fear of death. I mean, obviously, like, I sound like an asshole.
No,
saying it,
but living
like,
in the present is just preventing you from thinking so hard about the future death.
Correct.
Right? So it's like you're not afraid of death because you're not thinking about it. You're just more focused on like, what am I doing today? What am I doing right now? You know. Well, that's how I interpret it.
Yeah, well, but like living in the present at all times. You know, like it's not like focusing on like what's coming tomorrow. You know, you're focusing, you know, like let's just enjoy the time we're having right now, or like let's enjoy what I'm doing currently.
Right.
And you just find this mindset of like, it's really hard to explain actually.
Well, that's what like think about like meditation, right? Meditation is about like immediacy, because when you're meditating, you're being conscious of your thoughts, you're being conscious of your breathing, and like these very immediate feelings and things. You know, it's a lot like that. You know. Just
zen, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're not preoccupied by future fears and anxiety.
And you're not worried about the past because you're like, fuck, it's in the past. Like, let's live right now.
Yeah.
You know? Like, so you don't have those past bad memories and stuff like that.
But at the same time, though, it's like, why be afraid of death? Because it's coming to everybody. Right?
Literally,
like, if you know it is a guaranteed part of life. That's just part of, like, in my mind, that's part of the transaction you make, right?
Mm-hmm.
You make a bargain with the creator, whoever that is, whatever that is, that you gave me this life and in payment I give it back, right? Or like you take back whatever it is, you know, it's like, it's just how it is, you know.
And, you know, people are really scared of, you know, losing their family members like that, and I guess, you know, when a family member dies, like, you're crushed, you know, and like, you just get this mindset of like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose them forever, and, you know, and like, they're in their deathbed, and you're like, fuck, they're gonna die soon, you know?
Right.
Like, if you look at it the way that we were just talking about, of like, everybody dies, like, let's not lie to the person, like, they're going to die, like, let's just like live right now, and like, just, you know, you're here right now and everybody dies. That's what happens.
Right. Well, and that's a part of like religion, right? Like Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism, Islam, whatever that has a greater beyond. It's a part of it's coping, right? It's a coping mechanism. Like, oh, I just lost these people I care about deeply. I have these traumatic scars. How am I going to cope with that? Oh, they're still alive in another realm, right? That's how you cope with them. I'll see them again. Yeah. You know. What's interesting though is like, there's a lot of cultures that believe that like when somebody dies, that like they believe the spirit realm, right, whatever that is, exists simultaneous to the current now, right? Yeah. It's just another level on top of that. So when like they speak about people who are deceased, they speak about them in present terminology, right? Or like they refer to them as if they're still alive. They're just alive in like another, like,
for sure,
like, you know, they are alive alongside us, just in another plane.
Yeah, which I don't believe.
No,
because when anybody ever talks about ghosts, it's always somebody from the fucking 1950s, you know, dressed up in a suit, you know.
Yeah.
Why can't I see a buffalo ghost, you know, running through the street? It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, like, at the same time, though, like, when does heaven happen then, though? You know.
What do you mean?
Like, if you don't believe that, like, I guess, like, when we think about people who are dead, we speak about them in the past, as far as like Western terms go. But then, like, presumably, heaven is occurring simultaneously to what we're talking about now, right?
Yeah,
presumably, right?
Like looking down.
Right. So these other cultures just recognize that, and they speak about that more, like, literally, I guess. You know.
For sure.
But there's also like something I kind of took note about. Is like that's something I really like admire about like Dia de los Muertos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like that's a blend of like native culture and tradition and Catholicism, right? And just like this like recognition that death is going to happen, right? There's no avoiding it, and this recognition that's okay, right? Like yes, there's sadness in the death and there's sadness in the loss, but it's this practice of remembering them and actively celebrating their life that like gives meaning to their death, right? And just like not being hung up on the fact that they're dead, and instead just celebrating the life they had, and taking time each year to just remember them. And like, there's a very spiritual component, right? Because they believe they cross over and they partake in the events with them, just again in like almost a different realm that is there. Parallel to ours, yeah.
Because we're just in our mecha armor,
right? But no, I don't like. I really like admire that aspect of Mexican culture because it's just such a positive and constructive outlook on death, right?
And you see a lot of people in America celebrating it as well.
Right.
You see people all around the world celebrating it, but I guess you could say that about any, kind of religious, I guess, holiday, even though it's not really religious, I guess.
Right. Well, I mean, Dia de los Muertos is kind of religious. It's a spiritual practice.
Yeah, which is,
But it's huge, and I mean, it's from Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Another thing, too, though, about that is, like, I get pissed off, like...
Tell me how you really feel, man.
No, like let's about graveyards, about cemeteries, right?
Okay.
Like I love cemeteries because they're pretty, and like if they're well kept, and it's a place to visit to remember people, right? Mm-hmm. And they can be peaceful and really kind of spiritual, and you can just feel a type of way when you're there. But I hate them at the same time because especially in Western culture, it's just a waste of space. You go to the cemetery, most people go to the cemetery once for the funeral and never visit a headstone again, right? But there are headstones from like 1840 chilling in Forest Lawn, right? That have never been visited since they were put there. And so, we're wasting this perfectly good space, right, on a body that's decomposing inside of a wooden box with chemicals, right? When you could just either torch that body or just bury it for the worms and shit,
Yeah.
And then at that point you have this beautiful green space, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is like with Dia de los Muertos, they take that space and they use it every year. They decorate it, they clean it, they take care of it, and they celebrate the lives of the people who are buried there and remembered there, right? They give meaning and use to these expansive uses of land, right?
Yeah.
But then you look at, a lot of people in America and the U.S. who just don't use that.
No, I have a great idea for these cemeteries now. City ordinance teams, please listen to this idea. What if we take all the cemeteries, make like a city, park, what have you, whatever. And instead of having all these dead, decomposing bodies, we just have like a stone with all the names.
Like one wall or stone that has people's names on it?
Exactly. And a remembrance, I guess, because, like, you can go and kind of, like... But I guess if you had, like, a city park on top of a graveyard, I guess...
Yeah.
Maybe we won't do that.
Well, like, I mean, because people do... Yeah, what's this highlight about?
Nolan. No plant.
Yeah.
I think that's Ryan. I don't know who that is.
Damn, dude. You're a fake influencer. You don't even know your followers, bro.
Dude, they all have, like, similar names.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's hard.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate the highlight, whatever that means.
But then I guess that goes directly into the cost of death, too,
Yeah, well, like...
it costs so much money to have, like, a funeral, pick out a casket, which is made out of wood for $20,000.
Yeah.
Like...
Which I read this thing a long time ago where this lady did research on different caskets and interviewing different mortuaries and funeral homes and stuff, and she basically found that the $40,000 casket and the $10,000 casket, there was no difference in how well they preserved the body, but they market that. They said this casket preserves the body longer, but no, it's just more ornate or whatever,
Which that goes into
again,
what about
a waste of space and a waste of money.
Okay, yeah. You just want to. I mean, we got some.
It is hella expensive. Yeah, we got hella people working in here, man.
The rich people that want. Well, yeah, people that buy their own headstone. I mean, I guess that's. I would rather. I don't know, man. Like people that plop a headstone, a big old one, like NL Plan is talking about, where it's like, oh, look at this fucking headstone. Like, I was richer than all you motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a flex there, right? Especially, like, if you can afford a mausoleum, right? Where your whole family can just be put in boxes in that mausoleum, you know? At that point, you're asking for some, like, zombie vampire shit, personally. But, like, yeah. I don't know. At that point, it's an ideology thing, right? And it's a religious thing, because people believe that you preserve this. A lot of people believe you preserve the body, you preserve the soul. Right, that's what the mummification was all about in Egypt, right? If the body was preserved properly,
a whole other fucking thing.
Right, like in Egypt, you preserve the body, and the degree to which the mummification was done, right? Because they literally in ancient Egypt would sell like, hey, you can buy this level of mummification, which is baseline, and they might get to the spirit world, or you get the pharaoh treatment where you're putting a gold casket inside of another gold casket.
Inside a big old pyramid with traps.
Right,
you know.
You got linen cloth and all this shit, but so like part of it is a spiritual religious thing, but also it's like, to me it's like, again, it's that whole idea of like sitting on your money and just having money. Right, like what's the point in dying and buying this nice ass headstone and wasting all that space? You know. Yeah. You're dead. You're not gonna see it, and the people, your family, aren't gonna come visit you. Like I said, sorry, bro.
Yeah, you know. But
I think it's a vanity thing.
It's a big dick contest.
Fuck yeah, dude.
My family.
But
has
again, it's
so much more money than you.
You know, like I think we were talking last time about like libertarianism or whatever, right? Yeah. It's their choice. You know, you can choose to do that, but I just don't agree with it.
Well, I mean. Here's the thing too, like it's your choice to do that, but like that's their choice.
Yeah, dude, repurpose our bodies as food. Hell yeah.
You should have watched last week's episode where this dude tried to convince me for 20 minutes that I should try human.
No, okay, I don't think he's talking about cannibalism. I think he's talking about like the cycle of like life and shit. You know.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
But that's Chris Duran, and I don't think he was talking.
Chris Duran, bro.
Yeah. Oh, so I think he's actually talking about eating.
Well, if you're talking about cannibalism, nux. No. If not, that's cool too.
But I wanted to go back to the whole being sad after death. Yeah. You know, like it's two totally different ball fields where, you know, someone dies of old age, and then someone dies when they're super young, when the families are mourning.
Yeah, that's totally tied to like when an old person dies, it's like at least I had a good life, right? That's almost always what people say. When an 80-year-old dies, it's like they had a good life. You know, that's how people cope with it. You know, they didn't lose anything else, right? But when a young person dies, it's like they had so much to live for. You know, they could have been great, yada, yada. You know, when I working at the pharmacy, we had this hospice patient come in, or not come in, but we got their orders. 26-year-old with terminal cancer, dude. And like reading those orders was like, damn, that sucks.
That poor guy. He's going through it.
You rolled a critical failure, bro.
Yeah, dude. Like, wow.
Yeah, which sucks. Like that's hard to read. That's hard to look at, right? Because it's like we're pretty close to that, right? So imagine like we have so many dreams and aspirations, and then we have terminal cancer. You know, fuck us. You know. It's like, but again, an 80-year-old gets terminal cancer. It's like, you know what? You lived well. Why spend all that money to prolong your life? You know, there's that mindset change.
Yeah, it's so hard. Death is so hard. You know, but what I don't get is, you know, why people are okay with death once the time goes by. You know, like if you just, I mean, you don't have to be sad you just be happy for them. You know, like I think death is like the ultimate like stimulation, I guess.
You're talking about DMT?
No.
Okay.
No. Like that's the goal.
I mean, like it's the end game, right? That's definitely like that is the finale of life, right? That's the climax, right?
Yeah, of course.
Everything leads to death.
Yeah, of course. I don't want to die right now.
No.
But I do think that like it is the ultimate like release.
Right. Like the ideal situation is when your time comes, you're like, I accept this, right? I did everything I could.
Yeah.
In my life, and I'm okay with this, right? Yeah. But then I feel like that's pretty fucking rare.
What do you?
I feel like there's always something else you wish you could have done.
Yeah, not. You know? But you can't like go through life like that. You know?
No, not at all. But I think that's like when you're on your deathbed, it's like, man, I wish I would have done something. I don't know. I think that's always there.
Yeah, it is. No, I definitely get you. But yeah, I just think like the whole like you did what you could.
Right.
You know, kind of mindset. You know, and just be happy with that.
Yeah, and it definitely ties into like what we talked about a few episodes ago, like the whole idea of like true self, right? If you live your life as yourself, you live your true life, you know, you live what you want to live and how you want to live, and you're okay with that, you're probably going to end up in your deathbed like, you know what, I lived me. I was me. I did what I wanted to do. I lived how I wanted to live.
And that
you know
is...
At least, or like the idea that every choice I made, like at the very least, every choice I made was my choice. Right? It wasn't somebody else making my choice. No. Right? That's probably the best way, right?
It for sure is.
You can own your consequences. You can own everything that went right and say, I made those decisions.
Those are mine. I accept this.
Yeah. I could be down with that.
For sure. No, I just had a little while ago, death in the family, and my family donated her body to science.
Hell yeah, bro.
Or like she wanted to be donated to science.
Take my shit.
Exactly, because that is like...
feed my remains to the populace.
Alright, man. We need to stop talking about cannibalism. I know there was some stuff I wanted to talk about when we were going over it, but when you got here sooner.
Oh yeah, sorry, I should have been here earlier.
No, just read whatever you got on there.
I don't know, man. We talked about costs. Oh, something about costs real quick, actually. Did you know there's a death tax?
Really?
Yeah. Which, okay, for context, I only did research about this very recently, meaning like literally 3 hours ago. But so yeah, like the death tax. First thing, disclaimer, really only applies to people who are really, really rich, right? I think what I read was like the death tax doesn't apply to anything unless it's 10 million over in value, right? But the idea is that it's either called the inheritance tax or the estate tax. If it's being inherited by somebody, it's called the inheritance tax, which is essentially like you just won a ton of money at the casino, they're going to take a portion of that money.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. But an estate tax is if it's not being sent to anybody and the things at the estate are being sold or given away or whatever, they take a percentage of whatever that property is valued at as a tax. So it's like you're dying and they're taking money from you, bro. Not only do you have to pay thousands of dollars for a casket if that's your lifestyle, funeral rights and all that shit, presumably fees to the church if you're Christian, Catholic, whatever, and then also, to be transported and taken care of at the mortuary and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right? And then hospital fees if you're transported and shit like that.
Well, that's just the government, too, saying, this person died, let's fucking jump on this tax.
Let's just milk the last little bit of money out of them. Like, God.
Fucking milk it, dude.
It's so nasty. It's so stupid. Like, fuck you. I died. And you want my money? I guess, you know what, though? Again, back to my other argument. What am I going to do with that money?
True.
But at the same time, taxation is theft.
Yeah, right. I don't know. The whole death thing, I'll just get right into it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. I don't even know where I was going to go with that. There's just so many thoughts going around in my head right now.
Yeah.
Just about death, because I just thought it was so crazy to me when I was younger. Like,
yeah.
I was like the hypochondriac kind of thing. Like, if I like inhaled these germs, like in the wrong. No, there's this story that I read when I was like 13 years old, where these two kids were swimming in a lake. Yeah. And they got lake water up in their brains.
Oh, they got that prion or whatever,
yeah.
Bro? Yeah.
Dude, I was crazy. Dude, and then I would not swim in a lake for fucking weeks.
I feel like that,
months.
I read the same thing and I did the same shit.
Right?
It's
that
like,
shit was
no,
so
I can get in
scary.
that shit, bro. I don't want no prions in my brain. I don't want to get whatever.
Dude.
Nasty disease so my brain becomes mush.
Fuck, man. That's crazy.
God. Yeah, another thing, though, too, is, like, people's attitudes towards death, right? Like, you can be so pessimistic about it, right? And be like, I feel like this is the atheist way of looking at it, but maybe not, because I think atheists don't have to be negative, right? Atheism could totally just be like, you died, game over, GG's.
GG's, you're, like, you sleep.
Yeah, you're done. You're out of here. Yeah. Your body's gone, and the chemical processes end, and the science is done, you're dead, right?
Yeah.
And, like, I think a lot of what can come with that, though, is, like, people who are, like, because they don't believe in heaven or whatever, but it's like, well, at least he's not here anymore, right? Like, people take this idea that, like, being alive blows and death is the better alternative. Like, some people take that, I like that opinion. Not in terms of, like, suicide or, like, existential dread applies, but, like, not in terms of suicide, right? Or, like, low self-confidence, but just the idea that, like, they look at the world as it is and say, this place sucks, I would rather die, right? And just the most basic sense. Or you can be really positive about it, where it's like, like you said, it's like they lived their life and they achieved the end, you know?
Yeah,
they
like,
the end game.
Yeah, you know, and I really like the idea of, like, me when I die, I will be in the earth, you know, like, the whole, I have lived my life, I am giving myself back to Mother Earth. Mother Earth will now grow more trees, and then the whole consciousness net, a brand new consciousness, takes my place in the living world.
Okay.
And I am now dead. You know, in the consciousness net.
Right.
It's like a kind of like a soul for a soul kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool. But again, it's just like, what are you doing in the net, bro? You just vibing in the net?
Well, yeah. Like, the whole, like, I think, like, just imagine, like, a consciousness.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Everything's just connected. Like trees.
Yep.
They see each other. Like, they're like, hey, what's up, tree? And I think when we die, we're a part of that consciousness around the earth.
So, like, you're just actively everywhere. You're just
Exactly.
checking out things.
Yeah. Like,
So
you know,
you're just,
it's
like,
like
you're
white fucking Zetsu, bro. It's like Zetsu.
So you're just, like, observing everything.
Exactly.
All the time.
Correct.
Maybe it's just the busybody part of me, but I just can't get down with that. Like, I gotta be doing something, bro. If you're telling me I'm gonna be alive, or not alive, but I'm gonna be in the spirit realm for the rest of eternity, I better be doing something, bro.
Well,
I don't want to just watch people fuck up the earth.
Bro, it's like a tree, man. Like, they're not, like, conscious. They're not. They can't speak. They don't have brains.
No, yeah.
You know, like.
As far as we know.
True, but like it's just like a living consciousness. Like, you are part of the earth.
I mean, yeah, I get it. Like, you're part of, like, the whole cycle. You're part of everything. And, like, I get that.
It's like we're like waves bouncing off one another. You know?
I know. I just want to be doing something. And if I'm not doing anything, again, like reincarnation, dude. If I'm going to be part of the tree, just let me be the tree. And I'm just vibing as a tree until I get cut down or I burn down or whatever.
Okay, I can.
You know, and then I die and now I'm a goat. You know, except in, like, Buddhism, right? Samsara, it's like if you become something less than a human, you fucked up in your life and you gotta, like, you know, you gotta get better. Yeah. Because in Buddhism, escaping samsara is the ultimate goal, right? And escaping the infinite cycle. And then there's two different kinds of Buddhism, and then there's different sects of each Buddhist tradition or whatever. But there's a sect of Buddhist tradition that kind of follows a Hinduist thing, where it's like you leave samsara, the cycle of infinite rebirth, which is hell, essentially. Their view is that being in the cycle is hell, and then you escape, and you reconnect with the collective conscience. That's a pretty Buddhist thing. And then other ones are just like you escape samsara and you're dead or something, or like you awaken and. There
was, Cameron's gonna fucking hate me. You're gonna hate me. I'm gonna bring up the Midnight Gospel again.
Yeah.
No, they did. I think it was episode 4. They did something called Soul Prison.
Yes, that was a pretty trippy episode.
It was one. Like, actually, it was probably real talk, my favorite episode. Actually,
that was pretty crazy. Because like each turnaround, he lived his life differently to like get to the goal. You know.
Yeah. Right. And that's the whole thing behind it. I mean, in the episode, it only showed like one kind of. Oops. Simulation, I guess. Like, it only showed like the last part like of him in the soul prison.
Right.
But like, I think once he died, like my kind of take maybe was like he lived a whole nother life. You know, but that's just where he ended up, and that's what they showed us.
Right, because the idea of the soul prison is like in Naruto, the Izanagi, where you're in that like infinite cycle until you recognize your wrongs and then you escape. Right.
Yep.
Which is kind of what the soul prison was about, where he relived the same section of time until he realized what the proper course of action
would be, and then that's when he was released.
Right. Which is, again, that's pretty Buddhist, you know, where it's like you live life until you realize how to live life, or until, you know, your incarnation realizes how to live life to escape it, right?
I think I should start reading some Buddhism.
Mm-hmm. Buddhism's tight, bro. If anything, like, I like to relate Buddhism as like a lifestyle or like a spiritual guidance rather than a religion, because really, like, the original teachings of Buddhism and stuff weren't meant to be a prescribed religion. It was just meant to be like, this is how you should live your life properly, or not properly. This is how you should live your life if you just want to live a good life and be a good person, right?
And you found every Buddhist happy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have ever read anything about a sad Buddhist.
Yeah, that's just simplicity in life too, though. I think, right? Like, part of that I think is like when you're empathetic and kind to others, and you always put out positive energy, like it's a karma thing, right? Like you are going to get back positive energy, you know. And if you don't, you're so optimistic and positive that like you don't let that influence you in a negative way. You know, you just take it, you reflect on it, and just say, you know what, whatever, you know, no big deal.
Oh yeah, I think I am gonna start.
Yeah, dude, look up some Buddhism, read some Buddhism. It's nice. And honestly, like, you don't even have to be like a Buddhist practitioner. Just like incorporate some of the ideas, right? Like one of my favorite ideas from Buddhism is this idea. It's called like middle path. I'm like reaching back like 3-4 years to my multicultural studies class, but it's called like the middle path, where it's basically like Buddha literally said like, bro, because his life, right, he was a king or a prince, and then he was protected his whole life, like sheltered child. He never saw death, disease, you know, murder. He never saw anything bad. And then one time he saw this sick man on the road, and he just said, you know, this isn't life for me. Like, what am I doing if I don't realize what life is about, you know? So he goes on his quest, and he starves himself and lives as a poor person for many years, and then he reaches what's it called? Nirvana. He reaches nirvana when he's found by this lady who feeds him, so he's healthy, and he can have the energy to meditate and realize what life is, right? He fights off temptation and shit like that. And through that experience, he realized, he said, life isn't about living as an ascetic, right? It's not about giving up all temptation and all, you know, hedonistic things, right? You don't give up happy things, and it's not about living in excess of good things, right? It's about the middle path where it's like you enjoy some stuff, but you balance that out by being humble. Right. You have that middle path, and that's one of my favorite things I've read about Buddha is just this idea that don't be extreme in your indulgence, and don't be extreme in the way that you limit yourself, right? Because there's no life without both.
Right. And I like the whole fact that like you get what you put in. You know, like that if you're just releasing positive energy all the time, that's what you're going to receive back, and you're just going to live a happier life. Yeah. But if you're a negative person, you walk down the wrong path, like it's going to bite you in the ass one day. Yeah. You know, and I believe in karma a lot. Like, ever since I was little, like if I like accidentally littered, you know, like it was fuck. If I don't pick this up, like something bad's probably gonna happen to me.
Dude, litter pisses me off. Oh, that's an OCD thing. That's an OCD tendency.
Well, yeah, you know, it's.
I mean,
it
exactly just is.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing for me. It's like I could take the time. There's nothing in my life stopping me from picking up that trash, right? So like, I attribute this to a philosophy thing, but yeah, no, I totally agree. It's like you pick up the litter, otherwise something bad could happen. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's that kind of anxiety talking,
But you did say the fact, you hate litter. I fucking hate littering as well. I just want to bring up this crazy ass story here real fast. So I was working at Outback this year in like March, April. I think it was probably summertime actually. No, it was summertime. But I'm filling up my gas at the gas station across the street. I see this red Ford Explorer pull up.
Yeah.
Throws a fucking Burger King like slushy cup. You know. Plastic. I go, you know what? I'm just gonna go pick it up for him. Yeah. So I go up, I run up, pick it up. I said, hey bro, you dropped this. I throw it in the fucking window. Nice. And this dude in the back seat fucking like opens his car door. Yeah. And it's like 3 buff dudes, man.
Of course.
Like listening to rap music. Yeah. Like smoking weed, dude.
Hell
like,
yeah, brother.
And he goes, no.
Just a group of chads.
Yeah. And he goes, no, it's cool. He goes, he's right. I go, oh, okay.
Fuck yeah, bro.
I walk away.
Said damn right.
I walk away, I'm walking backwards, throws it out the fucking window.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, you just...
His buddies in the back were definitely like, nah, dude, fuck that guy. Just do your thing.
No, I think I don't know.
Who knows? I don't know.
Who knows?
But I get pissed off about litter because it's like, litter is everywhere, bro. God, you know, okay, so I went on that road trip, right? Like before this semester started, just in like, you know, kind of the end of summer. You know what state has 0 fucking litter? Idaho.
I was gonna say Idaho.
Idaho has no litter, dude. It's crazy.
Idaho.
It's gorgeous.
I love Idaho.
It's
I
crazy.
went one time like 2-3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, one of my favorite states.
I don't know what I was expecting because, like, you know, you say Idaho, nobody and their mom has any visual image of like Idaho, right? You go to school and you learn about the states and you learn Idaho potatoes, and that's all you ever know about Idaho, bro. Dude, so like when I drove through Idaho, I was dumbfounded at what I saw, right? Like crazy like canyons with rivers and like mountains and this gorgeous landscape.
And then you get the big city too.
Yeah, I didn't go through any cities. I was up in I guess it's called the Panhandle. You know, technically the very top. But
like Boise is like crazy too, dude. Yeah. Like you get both sides. And when I'm a travel nurse recruiter, so there's this big job in Boise.
Yeah.
And, dude, like, I told these travelers, oh, like, there's a sick job in Boise, like, and they're like, Boise, where's that at?
Boise,
I'm
Idaho.
like, Idaho.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I've never been to Idaho.
And you're so close to Utah. Utah's got gorgeous shit there.
Yeah,
too,
dude,
right?
it's such a, oh, I love Idaho.
Yeah, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, like a lot of beautiful stuff going on there. Montana's pretty too. But I'm just amazed. Idaho has no litter anywhere. It's crazy. Like, just like an example of how just cool Idaho is, I was driving on the interstate, right? I guess it's technically the highway through canyons again. Like, literally, I'm driving on the highway, 20-foot drop into a river, cutting through this just steep canyon walls, right? And I'm like driving, and along the highway, a few, a mile or so every mile, people pull over, get their tubes out, and just jump right into the river.
Yeah.
And it's clean water, beautiful clean water. It's just like just, like you will never ever see that in Nebraska. First of all, because we don't have canyons and nice rivers and shit, but like people don't care enough to keep shit clean.
Yeah, dude. In Idaho, like when we stayed like an hour away from Boise.
But literally, you go into western Nebraska, nobody is around for 20 miles. There is a McDonald's cup blown from the wind into this cattle fence, 100%. Or a tarp from like 20 miles away, plus McDonald's, plus fucking Flying J gas station something, dude. It's just everywhere.
Yeah, like we
just wasteful, stupid.
Yeah, for no reason.
I'm gonna actually get angry.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll just go back to death.
No, like we keep chatting. I don't care.
No, I was saying like we stayed an hour away from Boise or whatever, like in the mountains. Like we stayed at my cousin's house, and their house was in the mountains. Like in their backyard, we walked, like we hiked a fucking mountain, bro.
Yeah.
And like right across the street, just a river.
Mm-hmm.
Just a river that people just jump in.
Yeah.
Or they walk up a little bit, jump in, get out, and their house is right there.
Yeah.
There's hot springs just in the mountain.
Yeah.
And
that's what, like, in Colorado, you see the same thing, right? Like, the mountain streams coming down, people just stop on the road and jump in the streams and stuff. But, like, Colorado's beautiful. I love Colorado. And on that road trip, like, I drove into Portland and Washington, right? Or Portland, Oregon and Washington. And I stayed along, like, right on the coast, right there on the Pacific coast. I did hikes along like these huge rock faces, cliffs that reached out on the ocean, like, beautiful pine forests and everything. But like, despite that being my end goal, I still felt like Idaho was more beautiful.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
Nobody knows anything about Idaho. Idaho is a hidden gem.
And it's sick.
Yeah.
It's sick. No, let's go back to death.
I mean, we can just keep chatting, honestly.
Yeah,
at this
that's
point, we
that's
kind of
true.
talk about death.
We did talk about death.
We're just vibing at this point.
We are just vibing.
I don't even care. We had 7 viewers right now. That's the most we've had all night.
Yeah, let's open up to questions while we just chat.
That's true. We're kind of just hanging out right now.
Yeah, let's open up to some questions.
What y'all drinking tonight? What y'all smoking tonight? What y'all playing tonight? Y'all playing any PS5?
They're smoking the frog.
Yeah,
they're smoking the fucking
licking
frog.
the frog.
Yeah, no, they.
I know. I was just.
No, they squirt it into their mouth.
It's so gross. Are you gonna get a PS5?
I want to. Just kidding. Yeah, of course we made the setup all nice. Like,
yeah, you mentioned that like a while ago.
Yeah, I know, but we were just chatting,
Yeah, Christian's just out here with set design going mad.
Duh.
Yeah.
No, PS5. I do want one.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the Spider-Man game though.
Really? The Miles Morales?
I think it'd be pretty sick. I'm really excited for Spider-Man
Bro,
and
I want
Spider-Verse
Bug
too. You want what?
Bug Snacks? You seen that shit?
No.
It's so stupid.
What is it?
It's so they released it as a PS5 game, but it's available on like PS4 and shit too. I think it's on Xbox too, but it was released with the PS5. It's this dumb game where like you catch these creatures that are made of food, but they're the line of the game is they're kind of bug, kind of snack. So it's a bug, but it's like one of them's a strawberry, one of them's a cheeseburger, one of them's a hot dog, one of them's a pineapple, whatever. But you catch these things and you feed them to people, and then like when you feed them, it turns like their hand turns into strawberry. That's all I've seen so far. I haven't like watched the plot or anything. I just watched people play the game, and he fed this chick a carrot, and his nose turned into a carrot, or her nose turned into a carrot.
Is it like a cartoon game?
Yeah. It's a. I mean, it's not like a serious looking game. It's made by some like indie developer.
Oh, so it's like a Terraria kind of shit.
Yeah, but it's like it's 3D, like nice.
Okay.
It's nicely made. Like it looks nice. I don't know, but it is just a funny looking game.
No. I don't know. I've been playing a lot of Among Us, and you guys never fucking play with me.
Among Us? Oh shit! I was thinking about Last of Us when you said that. Dude, literally every single time you send us, hey bro, Among Us, or like anybody, you say Among Us anyone, I'm literally sitting at my desk with my computer open reading a textbook. Every time. That's not even a joke. I know that sounds like a fib.
No, I
but
believe it.
That's real talk.
I believe it.
It's dead ass.
I believe it.
Because you send that, and I'm like, bro, I really want to.
Well, cause dude, Among Us is just so fun. It's like it's Mafia, like when we played in elementary school.
Yeah, dude, it's honestly, like whoever developed that game put in like obviously they put in effort, but the amount of effort they put in versus the success they've found, like, dude, that's so incredible. It's amazing.
No, we for sure gotta play.
I'd be down for that. I still stand by when I said it like I don't know, like a month or two ago. Like just all the homies playing Among Us. I think that'd just be fun.
Dude, we could just get on Discord.
Yeah.
They can just play on their phones.
Yeah, you can play on your phone. You can play on your desktop. You can play it on whatever. Shit, I think it'd be fun. I just like that style where it's like you who done it. You know, you gotta figure it out. You know,
you gotta figure it out.
It's just so well done.
No, I have a super cool idea actually.
What's that?
To talk to you about after.
No, we're gonna talk about it after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, cause you wanted to keep it secret.
That's true. Yeah, we got secrets.
We got secrets coming.
You're in for a big one.
Yeah. Oh, big old secret. No, I guess you just want to stop right there.
I mean, if we're just rolling down, hanging out, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Well.
Again, I guess we'll just open it one more time. We got a couple of people left, so I don't know if anybody has any comments, questions, whatever.
Yeah.
If you don't, then we'll just roll out of here.
Yeah. Sure. What are you doing this weekend?
Tomorrow, I got Jake's in town, so we're going over to our dad's to just have some drinks and hang out and shit. I don't know what else he's doing though. He's pretty busy, so.
Yeah. Every time he's in town, I text him. I always see him on Snap. Every time I see him on Snapchat, like on the Snap apps, I text his ass. Mm-hmm. He goes, yeah, dude, like, whenever he comes, he's just always doing something. He's
always either got the family he's visiting, or he's hanging out with mom, or he's going to see his uncle, or so. I mean, he's high demand, you know? So,
he is high demand. People miss him.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I don't have anything else. I got so many papers to write. So I have the same professor for 2 of my classes. Mm-hmm. And he's really bad about, like, updating the calendar and posting due dates and stuff like that. So I looked at his classes the other day, the assignments, and he had posted due dates for the papers of the class. So I've got 2 papers to write for his class, so to do research and writing for 2 papers for next Tuesday from scratch.
Nice.
So I worked on that today, and I got to finish that soon. So I got a lot of fucking writing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not gonna do shit this weekend if I'm being honest.
I wish.
I know I'm gonna help Katie make flashcards.
Yeah, for her nursing stuff.
Yeah, so one of her finals is a test on pharmaceutical drugs. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm just gonna have a good time doing it.
Yeah, bro.
Just because I like learning about drugs.
Fuck yeah.
So I'm gonna make some flashcards with her, probably study with her, and that'll be it. That'll be my weekend.
Study.
All right, I just want to thank everybody for coming in for Wander, I guess.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good talk.
It was. I liked.
Just chill.
Like I said, when we started, I was like, no, it was before. Maybe we talked about how when I told people what we were talking about, and I said, oh, we're talking about death tonight, and they're like,
yeah.
oh.
Yeah, don't be uncomfortable. Talk about stuff. Talk about weird stuff. Talk about taboo. Talk about uncomfortable topics, because that's how you. First of all, that's how you get to know people. That's how you get to know their real thoughts, their real feelings,
Exactly.
real selves. But it's also just interesting.
It's very interesting, but people aren't always open-minded to what other people have to say.
That's true.
So
don't just throw caution to the wind. Have
an open mind. Talk about death. Talk about what have you. Talk about wander to your friends.
Yeah. Nice plug.
Had to do it.
Shameless.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for watching. I'm just gonna use this pad while looking at the camera to say goodbye.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. Thanks again.
Next week, 8 p.m.
Yeah, see you next week, episode 8.